here it is. I promised to show you how to make my apple butter. This is 5 pounds of applesauce. You make it just like I showed you. You take your apples, you fill them up almost to the top with water and a little bit of lemon juice, and you cook those down for a couple of, maybe an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, somewhere in there, depending on the apples. When they're fork tender and mushy, you want to run them through your food mill, get rid of all the skins and everything, and when you get them to that stage, you're going to add about a cup of sugar. Remember, this is different than applesauce because now it's unsweetened. It just depends on the apple. Get yourself a couple of clean spoons, never double dip, and we're going to taste this for sweetness before we start adding sugar. That's actually pretty sweet. And that was after I added about 1 3/4 of sugar. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to keep it like that because this is going to reduce and this is going to get really dark. And the sweetness of the apples themselves are going to concentrate as well to your apple butter. But you do want to go ahead and add your sugar before you darken this and concentrate it. So don't get it too sweet. Don't say, oh, that's perfect the way that it ought to taste. Go more towards the unsweetened tart apple flavor, because when this concentrates, it will concentrate the sugars and it will get a more sweeter flavor in just the apples themselves and what sugar that you did put in. Plus you're compensating for that 2 tablespoons of lemon juice that you put in here as well. So the water, the 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. You don't want to overfill this. You don't want to overfill it. All right. So now you can go ahead and you can add your spices to this now as well. I'm going to go ahead and add my cinnamon now because that'll help darken it. And remember, all spices will get stronger. Some people don't like cinnamon in their apple butter. You do not have to put it in there. We do. We like it. That was about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon there. Like I said, the ingredients can be adjusted to your taste. They can be adjusted to your taste. I'm going to take, and remember, spices, when you can them and they sit on the shelf, actually get stronger. A lot of them will. That's perfect for me. I don't like a really strong cinnamon taste, so that's perfect for me. I'm also going to put a few drops of cinnamon oil in here. That really boosts the flavor. Just a couple drops. And when this concentrates down, it is the kick. And this is just cinnamon oil drops. And I think it's by, Lorraine Candy Flavoring. So I just got it at Walmart in the candy aisle. The baking aisle, excuse me. Okay. And remember, that's going to concentrate down. And you want to stir that in really well. You don't want to dip in here into that oil. That can burn your mouth. It's a very, very, very strong cinnamon oil. So blend it in really, really well, okay? And when things are cold, oils can sit on the top. That is good. I think it needs a few more drops of the oil. I'm going for a particular flavor. That's it for the oil. I don't have any more. That's it. I'm out. And I don't have any more in my candy flavoring box either. Now you can do other things with your applesauce. You can add some raspberries, some strained raspberries, black raspberries, and I think I'm going to do that as well. Still got a little bit of this extra out of the refrigerator. I still have some of this extra black raspberry juice pulp here. I don't want to thin it down very much, but I think I'm going to make this a nice black raspberry apple butter. Why not, right? Why not? It was great for the applesauce. Let me show you the applesauce. see that? That's my blackberry applesauce. Isn't that cute? These are for gifts. And my husband said that was the best applesauce he ever had. So let's make it into our apple butter. If you want, you can leave it out. You can add some strawberries, some crushed strawberries into this and make it for a nice strawberry applesauce or a strawberry apple butter. In this case, we're making apple butter today. So same process, but more sugar. There's more sugar in my apple butter. Then of course I left my applesauce unsweetened for the most part. I got rid of just a little bit of the bitterness in my applesauce. So basically the similar recipes, and you can go over here. I'll put in the show more box below. I'll put the link to my applesauce when I get it edited and posted. All right, look at the coloring on that already. My goodness. But we want this to cook down. We want this to be apple butter, and I like my apple butter thick. I like it thick. You don't have to cook it down as thick as I like it. Sometimes I'll even throw this crock in the oven and really darken it down. Okay, I can really smell that now. I'm going to take a clean spoon and I'm going to taste this just like it is now. I'm telling you, putting the blackberries in that. If you like blackberries, and this is seedless, because I strained it, this is seedless blackberry juice. I'm telling you, this is going to be the best apple butter I think I've made yet. I still have the background flavor of the blackberries. That was the perfect amount that I added. I'd say that I added probably a little over a half a cup probably of blackberry juice. You could make this blueberry apple butter, straight up apple butter, the cinnamon apple butter. You can add what spices you like to this. You want a little nutmeg? Put a little pinch of nutmeg in there. You can make this however you like it. This is a recipe that can become your family's favorite recipe. You can add a little orange oil, raspberry oil. I mean, you can really flavor this up however you like it. I can heat this up like it is right now, and I can can it up and have some more black raspberry applesauce. And then I could label it sweetened. Let me get another clean spoon. So clean spoon, take a bite. That would be good just jarred up just like that right there. By the way, these were a mix of our Jonathan apples and our Granny Smiths. Both really good for baking apples. All right, some people say on these don't lock the lids down. Mine says you can lock the lid down because I've got air vents. I want that moisture to escape for the most part. So I'm just going to get it going, get it bubbling, and then I'm going to kind of crack my lid like this, and I'm going to let that moisture escape. Okay, so I had it on low for half an hour. Now I'm going to turn it up to high, and we're going to see you back here. Now, if this was applesauce, we'd just get this nice and bubbly for probably about 15-20 minutes. But this is apple butter, so we're going to reduce it down until it's thick enough that I like it. It's probably going to take about 6 hours. All right, we'll see you back here then. Make some apple butter and some applesauce. Make some apple pie fillings, because we are going to be doing that next. God love you. Stay with us. Be sure and hit that thumbs up button. Comment below. Let us know what you think. And be sure and share this video. There's lots and lots more canning videos coming up. And by the way, this is water bath canned for 20 minutes for pints and 30 minutes for quarts. All right? Half pints would be the same as your pints. Okay, before I get this going here, I want to see, I really liked that pear butter and the peach butter that I made that had the organic apple cider vinegar in it. I loved that taste. This is raw unfiltered vinegar with the mother in it, okay? I'm going to put some of this in a bowl, just a little bit. I'm going to taste it before. I'm going to add just a little bit of the vinegar to this. And the vinegar itself cooks off. That would be really good. I think I'm just gonna add a splash of it in here. Just a splash. I know that gets rid of some of that sweetness again of the sugar that I did put in. But trust me, with the right sugar and vinegar balance in this, I think that will be really, really delicious. And of course, it acts just like lemon juice does. It helps it in the water bath canning process. It helps it to be more shelf stable. Apples have a lot of pectin in them as well. That's how they make pectin, actually. It's from fruits that are high in pectin, from their skins and the peelings and things of like fruit. All right, now let's give this a try with a clean spoon and let's see how that tastes. Now, it doesn't have the bite the other stuff has, so I'm gonna add a little more. I want that bite. I want that bite. Just gonna keep working it till I get what I want. I'm going to get what I want, and then I'm gonna cook it down really thick. And remember, the flavors will concentrate, so don't get it exactly the way you want it up front. Okay, that's it right there. That's it. Okay, that's perfect. Now when that cooks down, that's going to concentrate that flavor even more. So I don't want to get too sharp on it. All right, now we're going to let that sit for about 5 or 6 hours. Yeah, I love creating recipes, and this is how I do it. People ask me how I come up with all these ideas. This is it. Put it in a little bowl, keep adding things, and then keep taste testing it until you get it where you want it. Oh, that is so good. The perfect sharp background bite to it with the perfect sweetness. This would make just a great applesauce just like this. I'll have to make some applesauce up like this with the vinegar in it. And vinegar is so good for you, especially if it has that mother of vinegar in it. Okay, we've just turned the heat down so the water will come back down so it's not boiling. I do not want this boiling when I put the other jars back in here because I want to bring them back up to a boiling point together. So I've got my jars as sterile can be. You're never completely sterile because steam, pressure, and time gives you complete sterilization. But I did let these boil for a good 15 to 20 minutes. You can get the steam of your dishwasher and do it in your dishwasher if you have a sterile setting on your dishwasher. All of my parts have been put through the steam bath as well. We have all of our lids here in the hot vinegar water. All right, we ended up simmering this overnight, and this gets kind of hard chunks when you rub this around the edge like this, so I'm going to try to avoid that so I don't get any of these hard lumps. Okay, we don't want anything to be a density issue, and I can scrape that off and put that on biscuits anyway. But this ended up going to get this dark and this thicker consistency like this right here, and I could have went longer, but I set myself a time for canning it, so we're an hour past that time, so I decided to give it up. This is all the water I'm going to get out of these particular apples, which is fine, and we gave it a taste. This is our last chance to see if it needs more vinegar or sugar, any more cinnamon. That is perfect. It's perfect, and it's got just that perfect vinegar bite to it. Just the right amount of sweetness, and I'm going to water bath process this, not pressure can it, but I'm going to water bath process this apple, this blackberry apple butter. Same for half pints, they would go for the same amount of time. And you want this to have a 1/2 inch head space to a 1/4 inch head space. And I like keeping that closer to the 1/4. When you're water bathing, I find the 1/4 inch on most things works best. Give a little tap here. If you want, you can debubble. That's always a good idea with this, just to be sure. Okay, here we have our hot vinegar water. And I made my little V here between my 2 fingers right here. One more time on the clean end. I just use my canner water and I soak these lids for about 15 minutes. 10-15 minutes is plenty of time. hot water. Okay, and finger tighten. Now, when I'm water bath canning, the air bubbles in pressure water bath canning have to come out. So this lid has to be loose enough to allow this lid to move just enough under pressure that it releases the air and the air bubbles inside of here. And this right here doesn't get all the air bubbles out, but boy, it sure helps. But the canning process is to get all those air bubbles out, and it will do it. It will do it. But you cannot put these on too tight. So I say finger tighten, just till it gives, and maybe another 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And then you've got a nice seat. But it will still let that air escape from the jar. Now, isn't that beautiful? We're going to go over and put this in the water bath canner with the rest of them, and we'll be right back. Remember, no tipping. Keep your product stirred up. No children or pets in the room when you're doing this. You don't want to splatter them. Stuff can be very, very hot. Okay, as per usual, splash of vinegar in the water. Keeps those jars from getting cloudy. I normally don't like to run a not full canner, but this is water bath canning and it's only for 30 minutes, so I'm fine with that. So we've cranked up the heat here. We're going to put on the lid. There we go. Gonna bring this all up to temperature together. We let that water in here calm down so that way the temperature of the jars and the water were as close as possible to each other. And then you're gonna build that heat in there together. This will help this seal. Okay, now when this gets to boiling, in a really good hard boil, this little lock might even come up. That's perfectly normal. But in water bath canning, we do not add the weight. You don't add the weight. That's for pressure canning. Right now we're just water bath canning. And you can use a stock pot for this as well. As long as you've got the room above the jars that gives you 1 to 2 inches of water above the top of the jars. Let's see what we've got here. The tallest jar, okay, so we're about 1 inch above. That's fine, that'll work. I like to be a little bit more to the closer to the 1.25 inch, 1.5 mark. Our ring's got a little bit of vegetable oil on it. Feels like it's tight. It feels like it might need a little bit more. And this right here is the lock. And it should come up when you're pressure canning. When you're water bath canning, it may or may not come up. And again, you can use a regular stock pot for this, as long as it's tall enough to have at least 1 inch to 2 inches of water over the top of the jar lids. Because remember, we're water bath canning. We're not pressure canning. If we were pressure canning, this would be a different level of water. The water wouldn't be over the top of the jars. There's some lines on the side here that that would tell us on the inside where our water lines are. Be sure to read the directions on your canner before getting started. All right, once we get the steam, we get this nice rolling boil in here going. We'll know when it's going. You'll be able to hear it. We're going to start our time for 30 minutes for pints. Blackberry apple butter. Be sure and hit the thumbs up button. Be sure and share this video, and we'll see you back here. Oh, and be sure and subscribe. We'd love to have you. And be sure and share recipes with others on my channel. That's what my channel is all about, is sharing and caring for one another. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, so our time is up. I'm going to turn this down. I'm on a glass top, so I have to remove it from the burner. Try to pick it up, don't slide it so you don't scratch your stove. It's very heavy when it's full of water like this. I'll let this come down naturally, and we're going to let these sit in here for another 5 to 6 minutes, and then we're going to bring them out, okay? We're going to let them sit in their little bath here and let them do their thing. When you're water bath canning, you let them sit for 5 minutes once your timer's up, okay? We'll be right back. We'll see these final jars come out of here. I love apple butter. I love making applesauce and apple butter. I think of all the fruits, cherries and everything, I think working with apples and pears and probably plums, those are probably my favorites. Leave a comment below and tell me what your favorite fruit is to turn into butter. All right, we're just going to take the top of the lid off the canner. Our 5 minutes are up, so we're going to take the top of the lid off the canner. Make sure that this lock is down. Even water bath canning, this lock can be up. open it up, give a few little jump ups here, and be sure and open this up so it protects your face from the steam, just like that right there. No tipping. Not for jams or jellies, especially if it's got little seeds or anything in it, or granules. And we're going to take it over here and we're going to set it aside. If you want to get the water off the top, and there's some still on there, you can just lay that on just like that. There we go. And you can get it off. But you can see this is hot enough that this dries up really quickly. When we're done, we'll decorate them up just like we did for our blackberry applesauce. We're going to label this blackberry apple butter. And you got popped pop. We have one more left to pop. And to seal. And we'll know that all three sealed. Again, these are going to be gifts, so I'm going to decorate them up. But this time I have some little fresh labels that look like this. See? And I have some twine that came with it. And when you put it together and you just tie it around the edge just like this. Isn't that cute? See, and here's some matching labels to that fit right up here underneath the lid. And you could decorate these up any way you like with some tape. You gotta be careful if that one hasn't popped yet. And you could do something along the line like this. Or you could put this in the top here. Or you can do a hole punch and hang it off the side just like you did that one. You could tape and glue a little bit of Elmer's glue and vinegar, dried and then redampened on the back. Makes for awesome sticker glue. I'll have to do a video on that. Haven't done that since the kids were little. And then you could make your own stickers for the jars. But these are actually made to fit just right inside of the ring, right there, right? And then again, you could also put this down inside for the top and then that on the front. So just under the ring there. So there's a lot of things here that we can do. So we'll be back in just a little while when these have cooled off enough for us to actually decorate up this blackberry apple butter. All right? We love you. Again, hit the thumbs up button. We don't get paid for that. It's free for you to do it. It's no money to us, whatever, when you do it, but it does let us as YouTube partners and Google AdSense partners, it lets us know what kind of content you're wanting us to bring you. And you don't want everybody to bring you the exact same content. You want a variety. So I'm trying to bring you some recipes here that I've made up that I know that nobody else has. The blackberry apple butter, the blackberry applesauce, these are those types of things that I'm trying to bring you. Things nobody else is canning, things nobody else are doing on the do-it-yourselves. I want to bring my creativity to the table. And if that's worth you subscribing to, I would love to have you. I would love to have you, okay? We love you. Go with God. Blessings, and hit that subscribe button.